In this episode of Food Service Worker, I'm going to be talking to you all about my experience as a grill cook for Jersey Mike's. So this is the end of week 2 of day 2. So technically it is Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. It's currently a little after 10:30 p.m. A little late doing this video. By the way, this video is old. I know, because I had to wait until after I separated from the company before I could release these public. So that's why you're now seeing them. So to give you all a little background about me, I've been in food service for off and on for quite a few years. I've done cooking, I've done supervising positions, overseeing the people preparing food and telling them how to do the food and stuff like that, and I bounce between that. So what I like to do is I like to get an insight on how some of these companies prefer to do their day-to-day operations when it comes to preparing your food, the food that we consume at restaurants, and also to do these videos to help you, the new employee who may be thinking about getting a job maybe at Jersey Mike's, and you don't know what you could expect or what you're going to be getting into. And at least if you get like a little bit of an understanding, maybe it'll give you a little head start, because a lot of people don't share that type of stuff. So with that being said, I try to do my best to try to explain some things that will hopefully guide you. But just take in mind that what you hear me say that I go through doesn't necessarily mean that it'll be just as bad as it will be for you, or it might be even better for you. It just boils down to management and how good of a worker you are and how well you listen. Okay, so one other thing I wanted you to know is take in mind everything that you read online about a company. When it comes to the reviews for the job, use that as a grain of salt, because a lot of these people might have vendetta because they feel like they were treated wrong. You will never know the truth until you actually work there. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into the video here. By the way, if you're hearing noise, I'm in a different recording area, so I have cars driving down the road. I have my fish tank back there, and I am wearing my tendonitis glove because I have bad tendonitis in my thumb. So anyways, so week 2 of day 2 is pretty much coming to an end now, but I'm going to share my experience with you. So today is September 17th, 2024. These videos had to be held private before I could release any of them until I separated from the company, so that I could stay employed at the location as long as I could without getting terminated for whatever reason they don't like. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to share it with you. So they have me working on the grill as a grill cook. Very important that you study the menu. If you're ever going to, if you can get the menu in your red section, which I don't have the menu with me right now, unfortunately, it's in another spot of my house. Get that menu. You'll have a gray menu, like a gray border, and you'll have red borders. Your red side is going to be your hot subs. Okay, you may have just a meatless one, which is like your portobello mushrooms. Those are totally different mushrooms from your regular mushrooms. Okay, every location is probably set up differently, so the way that my dip bot is set up might be different from yours. So I don't really want to describe what it looks like, but so I do have like a little refrigerator with 2 drawers that keeps it kind of cool, I guess. Maybe it doesn't, I don't really know. I don't think it's really a refrigerator. I think it's just like a shelf that kind of like holds my stuff in it. So I have like my beef and my chicken and portobello mushrooms all on one bottom shelf, which I just pull out and then they're down there. Okay, and then my top shelf for it it's kind of like next to the flat top, it has like my toppings that I put on there, like the onions, the mixed peppers, like there's mayonnaise in there for some reason. I don't know why the mayo's in there, but they have the mayonnaise in there. They have jalapenos in there, and they have mushrooms in there. And I think that's all that's in there. Oh yeah, there's some cheese in there too, the white American cheese. And so it was tricky getting a hold of getting the hang of it because I've been a little rusty on that. But I picked up pretty good though for September 17th. I was nailing it. I made a couple of mistakes due to my focus, but I did pretty good on that. I had a great time on the flat top cooking and stuff like that, and got to interact with some of the other employees, and so it was kind of better. I was doing some odd things, like not really say odd things, but it was my actual, like, I call him my boss, but he was also the owner. Him and his wife owned the restaurant because I guess they could buy into the franchise, and have their own little store or a little restaurant, whatever you want to call it. You could too if you had the money. You could start your own Jersey Mike's if you had the money and all the other requirements to start it. So he had me doing some certain things for him, like getting the carbonated canister out of the area where the drinks are, like the boxes of sugar, the syrup for the machine that mixes it with water and then evens it out so that it comes out the fountain drinks and stuff. Okay, so you get my point on that. So anyways, he had me getting the empty container of the CO2, I think is what it was, or it was carbonated, whatever it was. I forgot the name of it again. I'm tired, so I'm trying to rush through this. I'm already over the video as it is. I'm trying not to be too long because some people have a short attention span anyways. So anyways, I was doing some stuff like that. I had to get lettuce out of his car, put into the walk-in. Then I had to help him with that. It's all cool. I don't mind helping him and stuff. He's already walking with a cane, and his health isn't that great anyways. So it doesn't really bother me to help. And so then he had me like sorting like our to-go bags and some other things and breaking down boxes and stuff like that. And then the day was kind of slow. It wasn't too fast at all. I mean, we kind of picked up a little fast, and then it kind of was just kind of not so fast for a Tuesday, no less. So I go back on Wednesday, which is September 18th, 2024, and I will be supposedly on the grill cooking by myself without the owners always being on me. So the lady told me today, which is September 17th. So I was like, okay, I won't hold my breath on that. So long story short, here are some keys that I want to give you advice on if you're working on the grill and the flat top. Food safety is really important, okay? Your boss, and this is really going to be unfortunate if your boss is this way. Hopefully they're not that way, but you need to be changing your gloves out. If you're touching raw stuff, anytime you're touching something that could be contaminated, you need to get rid of gloves. You're wiping your face, rubbing your face, you need to get rid of that glove and put a new one on. And this can slow you down in the long run if you're busy. So you need to try to avoid as much as you can touching your face or any surfaces that are not clean that could contaminate your gloves, okay? Because you won't want to have to avoid changing your gloves, but you have to if your gloves come in contact with something like the beef or the chicken, because you cannot continue on. And some, unfortunately, like the owners I have, they haven't been saying nothing like that, which is kind of surprising. I know this stuff. I'm ServSafe certified. I'm also a ServSafe manager as well, so I know the proper things that I'm supposed to be doing. However, I'm testing my management as well to see what they're going to do, and I'm watching my own management not even use gloves. So But that said, they run the company how they want to run it, and if that's how they want to run it, you do what they tell you to do, okay? Or you find a new job, okay? So you don't argue with them. But that's the correct protocol for doing that. You change your glove out. If you take a piece of chicken for, say, the number 16, right, which is the chicken Philly steak, you would need to change that glove out once you put that chicken on the flat top. So whatever, if both gloves touch that chicken, you got to take them both off and you get new gloves on before you can touch your vegetables and bread and cheese, because that can cause salmonella spreading. Okay, but again, your boss may not be happy with you with that, because if you're not fast at changing your gloves, you can get put behind real fast. So, and technically speaking, you're supposed to wash your hands either way when you take the gloves off and put new ones on. So you would wash your hands, dry them off, put new gloves on, and repeat the process. So every time, you want to keep your area clean and sanitized. Make sure you got a sanitized bucket somewhere with clean rags so you can wipe down any area that comes in contact with blood or chicken or any of that stuff that can cause a allergic reaction to somebody. Okay, so you do have gluten-free bread too that they serve. So you don't want to put gluten-free bread on a flat top ever, and you have to use a different knife with your gluten-free bread. Okay, so when you go to cut your gluten-free bread, you can't use that same knife you've been cutting the white bread with, or the wheat bread, or any other breads with. You have to go pick up another knife to cut that gluten-free bread. Okay, so this is, I know I'm all over the place, but this is the procedures of being a grill cook. And I'm throwing this all over the place because this is all the types of stuff that you have to maintain. Now, when it comes to the less busy time, if you have that time where your store is not super busy all the time, keep your stuff stocked. So make sure your cheese is fully stocked. If you have that, okay, so make sure so look at the way they have it. Okay, so if you're going on the grill, look at how it is, do it like it is, fill it like it is. If they got 2 pans of white American cheese, make sure those 2 pans of white American cheese are filled, and even if they're just like a couple inches high, okay, as long as the door's shut, you're fine. But make sure the new cheese is underneath the old cheese. Okay, so the old cheese is going to be on top of the new cheese. That means if you bring out a block of cheese, you split them in half. Okay, you put those, or you bring in the old ones forward, and you keep the new one in the back. Same thing with your onions, your mixed peppers, your mushrooms, and your jalapenos, and your mayonnaise. So you're gonna have to do a flip. Okay, so a flip is basically where you're gonna have to get all new pans. So they should probably have these transparent, or like, they're not metal, they're plastic. They're almost, you could almost see through them if they weren't like more stained or whatever. I don't know what you want to call it, but anyways, that they may have something different for your location. Anyways, you're gonna, at a certain time of day, they're gonna tell you that you're gonna need a flip. And so what it means is you want to take your old stuff and have new pans. Okay, so we'll call it new pans, new dishes, that you're gonna take the old stuff and you're going to take the new lid, right, and you're gonna put it on top of the old one and flip it. Okay, so an example is, okay, we'll use this box. It's just a Baofeng box. Okay, so here we are. I've got this one here, right? And this is a box, a Baofeng box, a radio, and this is my empty box. So I put them on top of each other. They'd be the same size. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I hold both sides so I don't start dropping food out. And we'll want to flip it real fast so that it goes upside down. And you shake it out, okay, into the pan, and it's all going to go into the new dish, okay? You'll want to make sure you do that with all of them. Your mayonnaise, your jalapenos, you know, your mixed peppers, your onions, Make sure you get all the dishes that are the same size that have the current ones in them. Don't use different size ones if they're not the same size for the old ones, okay? And then you're gonna, once you have that done, you want to make sure that you have everything out, because you're gonna want to wipe that all out, even underneath, because you're gonna have to pull the meat out too. So all your old stuff is gonna go on top of the new stuff. So you're gonna have to need pans for your beef and your chicken. If the portobellos are okay, you might not have to worry about that. But if you're out of portobellos and there's none in the back, you're gonna have to weigh them out yourself. It's just a lot of fun to have to weigh them out and put them into a wax paper and stuff to fully stack them up again, or stock them up again. So have all that pulled out, or work one section at a time. So you just start with your vegetable area with like your veggies, pull them all out, rotate them, as you say, or flip them, toss them, whichever you want to call them. I'm going to say toss them, flip them, okay? And then make sure they're all out. Wipe the inside of the drawer out. If it's a drawer, get it all clean, and then move on to the bottom one, or start whatever shelf you want to do. If you want to do the beef and the chicken and the portobello shelf first, do that. Whatever you want to do in the order, or whatever order they tell you to do it in. Okay, make sure that everything that is old is on the top. Okay, everything that is new, it goes on the bottom of it. So when you are restocking, you're going to want to make sure that the new stuff is on the bottom of that dish. So I know what I just told you, when you flip it, you're now going to have basically the stuff that was on the top now on the bottom, and the stuff on the bottom is now going to be on the top when you go to take stuff out of it. So that's called, I guess that's what they call flipping. So get all that clean, make sure you're filling up your stuff, okay, your onions and all that stuff, and your whole section is good to go. Now see, with my location, we don't use anything other than water to clean the surface off. See, I'm used to like using oil on it. Like we clean it, with water and a scraper and all that stuff, and then we oil it, which we always called it buttering the flat top or seasoning the flat top, and it normally would bring out a nice patina. So it'd be like a nice shiny sterling, or a nice coating on it, so it's very shiny at the end of the night. I don't think they want you wasting their oil doing that, but at other places I've done that, we've done it that way. However they want their place done is how you do it, and you just have to go with it. You have to go with the flow, but I'm just telling you that this is the way that they want it done versus how it's supposed to be done due to health department rules. So that being said, make sure that you're also checking your refrigerator sections, that you have poles. So you're gonna make sure you have your Philly steak, your beef for your Philly steak and cheese meat pulled, and it's in a walk-in, and there's boxes that they want you to have. So my store, they want me to have at least 3 boxes of the beef steak in the walk-in, not in the freezer, because you have all these in a freezer, and then you have the walk-in, which is just for like refrigerated stuff, where it's safe to defrost slowly and not super fast, because you don't want to really technically ever force something to defrost really fast. It's not really good for the product at all for you to be forcing it to defrost fast. Okay, so take in mind, I'm just telling you stuff that I had to deal with. You may have to do it that way. You might not have to, okay? Every place is run differently. I just tell you how I had to do it. But it could give you a little bit of a heads up, so that if you do, you're aware, okay? And that's what the whole point of this video is, for you to be aware of what you could expect to have to do if you work as a grill cook, and what it's like to have to work as a grill cook at Jersey Mike's. Okay, so Make sure that the gutter is clean. Make sure every time you're finishing cooking something, you clean the surface. If you can do it real fast and you're not busy, keep that area clean. My boss was cool. The owner did give me the advice to go ahead and cut bread. You can ask your manager or your boss, hey, is it alright if I go ahead and take some of the giant subs and start cutting some of them so I could have them pre-prepped ahead of time? That way, if things get really busy, if I have a regular sub, I can just cut the giant in half, and then you do it that way. I see if they'll let you do like 20 pieces of paper of the wrapping the subs with. That's tearing off 20 pieces of paper and flipping them so that they're all ready for you. So that way you don't have to do that stuff. It's all stuff that's out of waste. So when your bread is cut, you cut it down the middle and you got a nice little bread. You just put it back into the bin where your bread is. That way all you have to do is when the order comes in, you take that bread out. If it's a regular, you cut it in half. You put it on the flat top or the griddle, whatever you want to call it, and you heat it up. You pull your meat out. So if it's number 17 and it's the Philly steak, you get your meat out. I don't know how you want you to do it at your place because it's kind of crazy. Okay, I've been told to do it a whole bunch of different ways. I was told get your bread ready first. I was told put your meat on first. I was told put your vegetables on first. And it's everybody has their own way of doing it. I'm just giving you insight, okay? I can't tell you how they're gonna want it done. They'll tell you how they want it done. Do it the way they want it done. But I'll walk you through how they want me to do it, or at least one of them wants me to do it. So make sure my bread is prepped. Is what I try to do for getting that sandwich ready. So I will go ahead and get me one piece of the beef meat and put it on the flat top. Put salt on it right away. Put salt on the beef right away. Move on to changing a glove if you can without getting yelled at, and then put a new glove on. Then get your vegetables real fast and put them on there. Check your receipt, your order paper, and make sure that they don't want something that they don't want on it. So if they don't want onions, make sure it doesn't say no onions on it. You don't put onions on that thing and end up messing up, okay? Read your ticket that's coming in. Very important. Calm down, stay mellow. Read your ticket, memorize it. Memorize the paper on what you're supposed to put on it. So, number 17, you go ahead and say it's a regular white bread, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and get my beef out, put on flat top, put salt on that, and then obviously I messed up there because I should have took my glove off before I touched that salt shaker. So immediately right there, you done messed up, right? So we're moving on. We replaced our glove. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab our vegetables. Grab a pinch for a regular, so it's just a little pinch of onions, pinch of your your mixed peppers. You're gonna put them just to the side of the beef, the Philly steak beef, okay? And you're gonna need to get your cheese ready. So your white American cheese for a regular is 3 pieces of cheese, okay? Put them to the side, either on a sandwich wrapping paper, so that you have a nice clean surface for the cheese to sit on, rather than on a stainless steel surface. And then when the meat's been on the flat top for maybe a few seconds, you should hopefully be able to flip it over, and then you're gonna move your vegetables right on top of that. And then by that time, hopefully your bread is basically like this over the flat top, kind of like next to where, not too close to your food, but a little bit away from your food, so it's a little bit safer to be next, to kind of give it a little bit of a crisp, because we don't toast the subs. We'll give it a little bit of a crunch inside the inside, kind of make it a little bit more crispy in there. And you only want to have that sandwich on there long enough. And as soon as your food is getting ready to be pulled off, you're going to need to take that sandwich off or flip it over on the flat top and get ready to move your food over. So here's the steps you're going to have to finish. Because now that your vegetables are on there, on top of the meat, you're going to need to start pulling with your chopper blade or whatever they have. Chop it up. You know, it's not the chopping type thing. They got like a meat cutter. That's what they kind of have. It's like a small square, right? And it's got a metal blade on it, and they gave me a spatula, and I got to kind of hold one of it and kind of jump back to it and kind of tear it. Then use the spatula to flip the meat over on the other side so it can cook, and then proceed to tear, you know, little bits of it so that you get small pieces so that it's all gonna fit nice on regular sub. Now, once that's done with my flip and I finish my second chop pass, then I'm gonna go grab those 3 pieces of cheese, put it on top of that meat and vegetables, and get it melting gooey down a little bit, depending on whether it's there. If they're eating inside, you want that to probably be like gooey, but not super crazy gooey. If it's a pickup order, you can pretty much take it off because it's going to continue to cook when you take it off. It's just like eggs. Eggs will continue to cook. You don't have to cook them like super long because they'll stay cooking after you take them off the heat. So, that being said though, you gotta make sure your pamper's ready, wrap it up. I find it's easy to have it on the actual flat top to transfer the food over. And by the way, you're gonna want to put all of that food, like if you were just putting money into the center of somebody's hand that's holding it out. This little crease right here in the palm of my hands, right here, this is where all the meat needs to be laying. So all that meat needs to be laying from here down to here, and then from here down to here. So you don't want it to be on one side. You don't want to just plop it on this side. This side has nothing on it. They may tell you different. 30 minutes into this video, I'm ending this video with that. I know a lot of y'all probably were epically complaining, but I tried to cover as much stuff as I could. Unfortunately, I ran out of time, though, because this is already going to be ridiculous of a video. This is the longest video I ever made. But day number 2 of week 2, I had fun on the grill. And then day 3 of week 2, I'm going to hopefully be riding solo to see how much I can mess up, man. It's going to be fun. September 18th, 2024. This might be a fun day. For a Wednesday, no less.